Hi, I'm Andy Shaughnessy with Real Time with SMTAI. Here with me this morning is Jason Sciberras. How you doing, Jason?
Good, good. Happy to be here.
Good to meet you. Jason is manufacturing manager with Saline Lectronics. And Jason, why don't you start off, give us a kind of a background sketch on Saline.
Okay, we're an EMS manufacturer, about 14 years old. We are just outside the Ann Arbor area in Michigan. We are a small to medium volume company. We do a wide variety of products: aerospace, military, medical, some telematics, oil and gas, those types of things.
And we were talking earlier, and I understand you all have kind of a heavy presence of millennial workers at your company.
Sure.
Could you tell us, is there any unique challenges to managing this group that we've, the older generation hears all kinds of things about millennials. Is there anything unique about managing them?
Sure, I think every generation has its pros and its cons. Saline Electronics is focused really heavily on making sure we're sustainable in the long-term future. So we have about a 44% presence in millennials. They're different than some of the other generations, and some of their big positives are energetic. They want to learn, they're eager. They don't really understand what manufacturing is today. They still think it's an old, dingy building cars, especially in our area. And when they see a clean, air-conditioned plant that's well lit, and processes that they're not dirty,
right,
they get excited about it. So they definitely can have their own challenges, but at the same time, they bring an energy that allows us to keep moving forward and growing.
Mm-hmm. One of the we hear all these, people have all these criticisms of the millennials, and some of them are that they're not motivated by a paycheck, like most the older people, will do anything to avoid getting fired,
Sure.
But they don't seem to be motivated by the money. Are you seeing that?
Yeah, they're more motivated. They want to know what their career plan is. They're young and they want to grow with the company. And so one of the things that Saline Electronics does is we allow each employee to have a growth plan. We don't run from it, and where we start off with, we've had many people start off in our most basic assembly areas and move up to, after they complete their colleges, process engineers. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of employees that are continuously moving up in our corporation, and I think that's an important thing for millennials. They want to understand not where they are today, but where are they going to be in 5 years. They don't want to be doing the same job that they're doing right now. So having that opportunity is important.
Right. So there's a lot of advantages to having millennials, sure, you'd say.
So yeah, as a contract manufacturer, our work comes in waves, and there's times that we need some significant overtime, mm-hmm, and they're willing to work it. They've got that young energy, and where they'll go for it. They may not have a ton of other prior commitments yet because they're still growing their personal life as well as their professional life.
Right. So it's one of the things that we were talking about, how a lot of the companies that have millennial presence seem to be doing pretty well, and I understand you all are doing okay.
Yes, we've been very lucky. We hit the market at the right time, and certain things about it, and having the young workforce to continuously move forward, so that when the older management does start to move on and start to retire, that you have somebody ready to take their place, and you can keep growing instead of just eventually becoming stagnant.
Right. So you basically treat them almost like any other employee, and as far as like you talk about having someone to replace the management, you see any issues with them moving up into management later? Or?
It's hard. Everybody requires coaching.
Right.
With the proper coaching, though, I find that they are very good managers. They communicate very well, especially to other millennials. And so in certain instances, some of our older generation management, it's harder for them to relate. But when it's a millennial relating to a millennial,
right,
it's a lot easier. So
you have another millennial maybe come in and sort of mentor them, if you want to call it that,
sure,
when they first get there, and walk them through and make sure everything's...
Absolutely. It starts off with a proper orientation, and then after the orientation, it's proper training. Once you get the training right and the people get good at the job, then they want to find a way to keep moving forward. And so finding that growth plan is that next step that I think that generation requires.
Cool. Well, it sounds good. It sounds like you got a good handle on it.
Thank you.
So,
thank you very much.
Good to meet you. Thanks.
Nice to meet you.
Again, I've been speaking with Jason Sciberras. I'm Andy Shaughnessy for Real Time with SMTAI. Thanks for watching.